Okay, how's it going, y'all? So we're gonna read an important piece here from 1918. This is Lenin. This is a Declaration of Rights of the Working and Exploited People. So we're gonna go ahead and read the Declaration of Rights of the Working and Exploited People. The Constituent Assembly resolves: 1. So there's, I guess I should say what these are consistent of. There's Roman numerals, and then there's numbers like Arabic numerals after the Roman numerals. So let's go ahead and I'll have to divide it up into that as I say it. Might get a little confusing, but so Roman numeral 1, Arabic numeral 1. Russia is hereby proclaimed a republic of Soviets of workers, soldiers, and peasants' deputies. All power centrally and locally is vested in these Soviets. Arabic numeral 2. The Russian Soviet Republic is established on the principle of a free union of free nations as a federation of Soviet national republics. So I'll just refer to the Arabic numerals as like 1, 2, 3, and then Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, because there's more of the Arabic numerals. Okay, Roman numeral 2. Its fundamental aim being to abolish all exploitation of man by man, to completely eliminate the division of society into classes, to mercilessly crush the resistance of the exploiters, to establish a socialist organization of society, and to achieve the victory of socialism in all countries. The Constituent Assembly further resolves: 1. Private ownership of land is hereby abolished. All land together with all buildings, farm implements, and other appurtenances of agricultural production is proclaimed property of the entire working people. 2. The Soviet laws on workers' control and on the Supreme Economic Council are hereby confirmed for the purpose of guaranteeing the power of the working people over the exploiters, and as a first step towards the complete conversion of the factories, mines, railways, and other means of production, and transport into the property of the workers and peasant state. 3. The conversion of all banks into the property of the workers and peasant state is hereby confirmed as one of the conditions for the emancipation of the working people from the yoke of capital. 4. For the purpose of abolishing the parasitic sections of society, universal labor conscription is hereby instituted. 5. To ensure the sovereign power of the working people and to eliminate all possibility of the restoration of the power of the exploiters. The arming of the working people, the creation of a socialist red army of workers and peasants, and the complete disarming of the property classes are hereby decreed. Roman numeral 3, then number 1. Expressing its firm determination to wrest mankind from the clutches of finance, capital, and imperialism, which have in this most criminal of wars drenched the world in blood. The Constituent Assembly wholeheartedly endorses the policy pursued by Soviet power of denouncing the secret treaties, organizing most extensive fraternization with the workers and peasants of all of the armies in the war, and achieving at all costs, by revolutionary means, a democratic peace between the nations without annexations and indemnities, and on the basis of the free self-determination of nations. 2. With the same end in view, the Constituent Assembly insists on a complete break with the barbarous policy of bourgeois civilization, which has built the prosperity of the exploiters belonging to a few chosen nations on the enslavement of hundreds of millions of working people in Asia, in the colonies in general, and in small countries. The Constituent Assembly welcomes the policy of the Council of People's Commissars in proclaiming the complete independence of Finland, commencing the evacuation of troops from Persia, and proclaiming freedom of self-determination for Armenia. 3. The Constituent Assembly regards the Soviet law on the cancellation of the loans contracted by the governments of the Tsar, the landowners, and the bourgeoisie as a first blow struck at international banking, finance, capital, and expresses the conviction that Soviet power will firmly pursue this path until the international workers' uprising against the yoke of capital has completely triumphed. 4. Having been elected on the basis of party lists drawn up prior to the October Revolution, when the people were not yet in a position to rise en masse against the exploiters, had not yet experienced the full strength of resistance in the latter in defense of their class privileges, and not yet applied themselves in practice to the task of building socialist society, the Constituent Assembly considers that it would be fundamentally wrong, even formally, to put itself in opposition to Soviet power. Okay, so those are the rights, but then he says here at the end, in essence, the Constituent Assembly considers that now, when the people are waging the last fight against their exploiters, there could be no place for exploiters in any government body. Power must be vested wholly and entirely in the working people and their authorized representatives. the Soviets of workers, soldiers, and peasant deputies. Supporting Soviet power and the decrees of the Council of People's Commissars, the Constituent Assembly considers that its own task is confined to establishing the fundamental principles of the socialist reconstruction of society. At the same time, endeavoring to create a really free and voluntary, and therefore all the more firm and stable, union of the working classes of all the nations of Russia, the Constituent Assembly confines its own task to setting up the fundamental principles of a federation of Soviet republics of Russia, while leaving it to the workers and peasants of each nation to decide independently at their own authoritative Congress of Soviets whether they wish to participate in the federal government and in the other federal Soviet institutions, and on what terms. Okay, good to have. So yeah, a true republic, a true democratic republic. So this was Lenin, Declaration of Rights of the Working and Exploited People, 1918. Thank y'all for tuning in. Marxist stuff. Follow me online, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, and Medium. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Dodata Goi.